Okay, let's just forget about Gantt charts and deadlines for a second. We all know what those are. But what really separates a good project manager from a truly great one? Well, today, we're going to dig into the secrets that make a PM absolutely indispensable. You know, the kind of person who can take a chaotic project and turn it into a massive success.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about what makes a PM indispensable in the first place. Then, we'll dive into why the customer is your North Star. After that, it's all about building that A-team. We'll cover the art of great communication, and finally, how to break down those annoying barriers. Sound good? Let's jump in.
All right, first things first, what actually makes a PM indispensable? Let's get right to the heart of it, the secret ingredient for project success. I want you to think for a second about the absolute best project you've ever been a part of. And now, think about the worst. I bet one felt smooth, maybe even fun, while the other was just a total chaotic nightmare, right? So what's the difference? What was the secret sauce that made one fly and the other, well, crash and burn?
Well, more often than not, the answer is a great project manager. Seriously, they're like the conductor of an orchestra. They take all these different talented people, all the different instruments, and bring them together to make beautiful music, instead of just a bunch of noise.
So how do they create that value? It really boils down to 5 key things. Think of it as a framework for success. We're going to go through all 5, but let's start with what is arguably the most important piece of the puzzle.
And that's your North Star, the customer. I mean, think about it. You can deliver a project perfectly on time, totally under budget, but if it doesn't solve the actual problem the customer has, you failed completely. It's the classic trap of building the wrong thing, and a great PM knows how to avoid it. And it all starts with this one simple but profound question. A great PM doesn't ask, "What do you want me to build?" Nope, they ask, "What is the problem you would like us to help solve?" That tiny shift in language, it changes absolutely everything.
And they don't stop there. They dig deeper. Okay, so that's the problem. But how is it actually impacting your organization? Is this costing you real money? Are you losing customers over it? When you truly understand the pain, the right solution becomes so much clearer.
This next one is so smart because it gets right to the heart of urgency. What prompted you to ask for help now? The answer to that question tells you everything. Maybe their budget is on the line, or a competitor just launched something new. It reveals what's really at stake. And then, the final piece, aligning on the vision. What is your hope for the outcome of this project? This gets you past the deliverables and into the actual results. Success isn't just a new piece of software. It's, say, filling orders faster without making more mistakes. See the difference? So here's the bottom line. A great PM doesn't just take orders, they uncover real needs.
Okay, so you've got this crystal clear vision straight from the customer. Awesome. But who's actually going to build the thing? That brings us to our next big topic, building the A-team. Because let's be honest, a vision without the right people to make it real is, well, it's just a hallucination.
And this example just nails it, right? Imagine your project is to build an airplane. You could have 5 of the most brilliant engineers in the world, but if you don't have a single mechanic, that plane is never getting off the ground. It's not just about having smart people, it's about having the right mix of skills.
Which brings us to what's really the gold standard today, the cross-functional team. This is where you stop that old school thing of, tossing work over the wall from one department to the next. Instead, you get everyone, engineering, design, finance, you name it, all working together toward the same goal. It just shatters those silos and makes everything so much faster. And inside these teams, the real superstars are what we call T-shaped professionals. So picture the letter T, that deep vertical part. That's their core expertise, their superpower. But the horizontal bar across the top, that's their ability to collaborate, to understand and work with people from other disciplines. It's that combination of deep skill and broad collaboration that really creates magic.
So how do you manage a team like this? It's basically a 4-step loop. First, you make the goals super clear for everyone. Second, you get the right skills on the team. We just talked about that. Third, you're constantly measuring and communicating progress to keep that momentum going. And finally, and this is so important, you recognize everyone's effort. You celebrate the wins. That's what creates a cycle of high performance. And that leads us perfectly into our next big idea, the art of great communication. And please, don't think of this as just some soft skill.
It's not. It's the absolute foundation. It's the glue that connects the customer's needs with what the team is actually doing day to day. A great PM is basically a communication hub. They're a translator. They ensure everyone sees the big picture. So a developer isn't just building a button, they're enabling one-click checkout to reduce cart abandonment. That context is everything. It transforms tasks into a shared mission and makes everyone feel valued.
All right, that brings us to our last section. And honestly, this might be the most powerful one of all: how to break down barriers. This is all about pushing back against the status quo and moving beyond that one phrase that I think we all absolutely dread hearing.
Because we've always done it this way. Ugh, you've heard it, right? It might be the 7 most expensive words in business. It kills innovation. It stops progress cold. But an indispensable PM, they hear that phrase, and they don't see a brick wall. They see a challenge, a hurdle to get over.
And how do they beat it? By becoming an innovator and the team's biggest advocate. They empower their team to try new things. They go to bat for them to get more resources. They run interference with other departments to remove obstacles. Basically, their job is to clear the runway so the team can take off and do their best work.
So, let's pull this all together. When you think about it, from digging deep to understand the customer, to building that A-team, to being a communication hub, and then breaking down barriers, it becomes really, really clear. An indispensable PM isn't just a taskmaster. They don't just manage tasks. They build value.
So I'll leave you with one final thought, a question to ask yourself about your own work. Are you just managing tasks, or are you creating impact? Think about it.